persons here because they just joined the community PL group. And for some reason, that's where we post the link to our major meets. So if you are in officially welcome you to the meet. Although this may not be the meet for you because this particular session is on Python. So, but you are also welcome to stay if you want to, maybe to just see how things are going around. But if you don't want to stay, there's no problem at all. This is a session on Python. Your session for cohort 12 and 13, I told us we're supposed to have a session today, but I'm working on something that I think by tomorrow, I and Justice are working together on that. By tomorrow, your lessons should be ready in a video format where you watch our past sessions that we've done for you. And then if you don't understand anything in the session, you write down your questions so that we could hold a session just for me to answer the questions instead of me having to go over it from the beginning. So that is basically the plan I have for you. And this is going to be very productive because whenever we have the meet, our aim will just be to solve the problems we have instead of having to start all over from the beginning. So I look forward to having us and making sure all these are possible. That's why we've not been having our meet. Okay, so many of us are coming in already, and it's already interesting because it's going to be enjoyable. You know how Python is. It's very, very sweet, unlike the other one you could call C, which has never been my choice. But then we are doing my choice here. Okay, so I'm sharing my screen here. But before I start, I want to give room for those that were here yesterday to tell me what he or she learned yesterday. Or what did you do after the meet? Did you practice? Just fill me in on what you learned yesterday or what you've done after the meet. Anybody, you want to speak, you can raise up your hand here. Sorry, or you click on this icon to raise up your hand, and I will give you a chance to speak. So while we are doing that, let me check if my things are in place. So I'm still expecting somebody to raise up their hand. See, I've not even finished mine because it has been hectic. What am I having? 81, 75. Okay, go back to it. Anybody yet? Okay. Camillus, please. Let's hear from you.
Hello. Good evening.
Good evening.
Sorry, I don't really. Is it Dave that is speaking?
Yeah, it's David.
Okay. Oh, sorry, your voice changed. Yeah. I want to say good evening in the house and to our women's and their queens. Happy International Women's Days. So the yesterday training was actually awesome. I think I've been practicing and everything you did yesterday, based on the count of the string and the jump and start, everything you do, the steps, I practice it. And one good thing, one thing I did on my own is, though I use System, but I tried something on handset. I was able to install Python, the latest version of Python on my Tamus phone, and I used it to practice the Python, and it was awesome. So it was really awesome.
Okay, that's very great. I'm glad to hear that at least you've installed Python on your phone and it works. Okay, that's very, very good. So for those who don't know that you could actually use your phone to code Python, like there is a standalone application for Python, and it works very, very fine. I think I used it then when I was starting off on some things, and it works very, very fine. So if you're using a phone and you don't have a PC for now, I recommend that you go to your app store and download a Python. When you download it, it will ask you to download some add-ons. Please help me mute your mic. It will ask you to install some add-ons. So you could go ahead and install those add-ons and to work very fine. I enjoyed it then. I was using a tablet then. Okay, so Taiwo, please, I would love to hear from you. So we could move fast today.
Yeah, good evening, everybody.
Okay, good evening.
Yeah. So I want to appreciate you for yesterday. Actually, I was very tired, so I was one way in, one way out. I had some things. So later in the day, I went through my Jota and I can see. Though my day has been so hectic at work, I couldn't practice all that I've learned. But I've written them down, and I believe over the weekend I will practice them, and I will see how I can apply them. So thank you very much. That's what I should share.
Okay, great. I'm happy to hear that. I'm always happy to hear when people say they are going to go back to whatever they did. It's interesting because when you go back, like when we are having our video session here, you may not grab everything, but when you are settled and you want to do it on your own, yeah, that's where you start getting the concept. Believe me. Like as I'm talking here, I might not understand some things I'm doing, but whenever I go back and like, what did I even say to those people? And then I'll start to reminisce. Before you know it, I'll start to grab some new things that most of you said in the meet, and it's always interesting. Okay, that's great. So I will jump to the next person so we could move fast. Pascal Chinonso. Okay, Pascal. Pascal, are you there? Your mic might be mute, so you may want to unmute it. Okay, I think I lost him there for a while. Okay, just in case you are back to speak, maybe it's your network or something, you can drop a message here, and when I see it, I will definitely give you the chance to speak. Okay, so officially, I want to welcome everybody to the meet, and I almost forgot, today is International Women's Day. So to all the girls, daughters, women, all the ladies, and our tech babes, I wish you a happy International Women's Day, and I hope your day was productive. Okay, so I encourage you to continue doing what you are doing, put more effort, and in the nearest future, I believe you will be where you want to be and even higher than that. And congratulations. So for our cohort 12, I congratulate you too for making it past your probation. And it's not going to get easier at all. So I encourage you that you put more effort because this is where it starts. Yes, this is where it starts. I saw some of you are already in recursions. It's still simple. Until you start doing the Malog, Calog, that's when you know that, yeah, ALX are really mean when they say do hard things. Okay, so let's go into the business of today. And today we are having, we are still on Python. Yesterday we did something on data types. So let me go back there. Projects, yeah. We did something on data types, the variables, then operators. Yeah, and that was what the concept of here was, operators and some other few things. And then we saw how we could use those concepts to solve most of these tasks. It was not difficult. So today, I told us yesterday that they are going to rush us on Python because when you understand C, basically you understand whatever it is, any programming language is, so you can do anything. The only thing you need to do is to learn how to write the syntax, and that is all. So like today now, we are already in if, else, loops, and functions. My God, it's already just our second day here. So, but it's not as difficult as we think. So let's just move and see how things are going to be. So I'll be making reference. I told us yesterday that I will try to, I will try to make a note on our Python, but unfortunately work had me, so I wasn't able to do it. So I will still be making reference to our C programming tutorial. Okay, because that's basically where our note on C was. So I'll just be using it to explain the concept, and then I'll show us how we could do it on Python. So if else statement, that falls inside conditional statement. Okay, so I'll zoom in here. I always love to work with somebody who will be telling me that they can see or they cannot see. So Christiana Moore, I'll be working with you. So tell me, is this screen okay? Can you see all the text? Christiana Moore there. Okay, if I cannot get to Christiana Moore, Owoyomi Taiwo, please tell me, is it okay like this? Or should I still need to zoom in?
Yeah, it's okay like this.
Okay, no problem. You're available. Please, whenever I ask, you'll be the one to answer me. Okay, so I'll come over to this side. I believe it's okay like this.
Yeah, it's very clear now.
Okay, do I need to put it on the bright mode or the dark mode is okay?
Bright mode is better.
Okay, great. Okay, so let's go into the business of today. So today we'll be talking about conditional statement, basically, because that's what this is about. The first part of it, conditional statement. And we know what conditional statements are if you were on the sessions of C. conditional statements are statements you use when you have multiple options and you want to choose just one option out of them. That is basically what conditional statements are. And in conditional statement, we have different kinds of conditional statement. Not like different kinds of the conditional statement, but how you could write it. We have the if statement, we have the else statement, and then we have the else if statement. Okay, so let's just read a few about it. So how if statement works. Now, the if statement evaluates the text expression inside the parentheses. That was in C programming, right? So I wanted to use this to show something. Don't mind about that. So if you already know what if statement does, it's just for us to learn how to write it in C programming. So in Python. So in Python, this is how it works. So you have your if keyword, and then you have your text expression here. After your text expression, you have a colon next to it, and then when you hit enter, and whatever goes inside of this place becomes the body of your if clause. That means what you want it to execute if this text expression is true. Remember how text expressions are. They always return true or false. So if it evaluates to true, then whatever goes inside of this place will be executed. So I think I'll just go back to that place. More. Okay, so if this expression here is true, it will evaluate this. If it is false, it will skip this and execute whatever we have below it. So I'll just go over outside of my loop. So I'm going to print, say, Owo, I can't remember that. Owoyotomi. Oh, I'm under your name, bro. Taiwo. So let's say my test expression is going to be, what should be my test expression? Let's say if I am a student of ALX, right? If I am a student of ALX equals to true. So if ALX, so if I am a student of ALX, it should print Christiana. That is what I want it to do now. So if this statement is true, then it should execute the body of the if clause. If it is false, then you should skip it, and whatever is below it, you give it to me. So I'll run this thing. Why do I have to? Okay, I have Oyohen. Okay, so we see here, because ALX is true. Remember when we learn about Boolean expressions? You know, we have different kinds of logical operators. We have arithmetic, the logical operators, and then we also have the Boolean operators. Okay, well, we have the true and false, right? So I set ALX to be true. So I said if true, that is what this means. If ALX, if true. When we assign a value to a variable, wherever we use that particular variable, it means that we are representing whatever we stored inside of it. Just like in mathematics, where you have x equals to 2. So when you have something like x plus 2, of course, the answer is going to be, let me write it in programming, the answer is going to be 4, because x here represents 2. Okay, so that's what this statement here means. So if true, print Christiana. Okay, and the reason this is printed is because this is outside of our loop. Okay, so whatever is inside of the if clause is going to be indented. Now, unlike C, you know, in C, indentation was not really a big thing. I could write this and I have this here. It will still print this in C. You could also try that, except your compiler does not allow that, or in some versions of GCC may not allow that, but it will still work. But in Python, if you try that, it's going to give you an error. Yeah, so indentation in Python is very, very important. You must observe it. If not, it won't give you. So this statement basically means it is inside of the if clause, and this is outside of the if clause. That's why we are able to print it. Okay, so if I change this to false, let's see. What happened? It did not print Christiana because it's now false. So what I was saying here is, if true, if ALX is true, and unfortunately ALX is now false, so it could not execute what is inside the body of it. Instead, it skipped it. The reason this is executed is because it is not inside of the if clause. So that's how the if statement works. So if I had multiple choices and I wanted to select one out of it, this is what I would do. Okay, so let me show us another example so that we could really grab it. So I would say A, or let me say, I want to use people names so that we could really grab the concept. That's how I love to do it. Tochi and Joshua. Okay, so let's say Tochi is maybe 12 years. No, Tochi, 21 years. And Joshua, forgive me, I'm using small letters in writing your names. And Joshua is, let's say, 32 years. So I'm going to write here, if Joshua, right? If Joshua is greater than who? Tochi. Guys, if Joshua's age is greater than Tochi's age, you should print Joshua is older than Tochi. Okay? So you see, because this statement evaluates to true. Remember what we said about test expressions, either true or false. So because this is true, of course, Joshua is greater than Tochi, Tochi is greater than 21. So this is printed to the standard output. Joshua is older than Tochi. And then this is not inside of the loop. That's why it is still being printed. So that is how the if statements work. Now we have the else clause. Now, where do we use the else clause? Of course, where we have, let's say, another option, a default option. So what if Joshua is not greater than Tochi? What should happen? So it should give us another sense that, okay, what if this is false? What should happen? That is what the else clause does. So the else clause, I told us last time when we were doing C programming, I think that was for cohort 12, it is a default statement that whenever this is not true, that else clause is going to be executed. But if this is true, it's not going to be executed. So let us see how we can use that too. Remember I said indentation is very, very important. So this is just how you write it. Else as the keyword, and then you put a colon, then you enter. And then, so in this case, I would say Tochi is older than Joshua. Okay, so let me run this again. So you see now our else clause is not executed. Why? Because our if clause is true. So if this becomes false, this is going to be executed, and this will not be executed. So let's make this false now. So let me still leave it in 21. So if Joshua is less than Tochi, and unfortunately Joshua is greater than Tochi, let me run it. You see? So in this case, it says Tochi is older than. So he checked this expression, and this expression is now false. So he skips this, and then goes into the else clause, and then just executed what's inside there. The reason we have this printed whenever any of this is true or false is because this is not inside of the clause, any of the clauses. It's outside of the loop. Sorry, not the loop. It's outside of the conditional statement. Or you could say it's outside of the block of any of these codes. That's why it's still being executed. Okay, so that's basically how you use the if-else statement in Python. This is just how you write it. Now, I'm just using this print as an example. There's a lot you could do in between this, depending on the kind of a program you want to write. So that is that. So I'll move on. Now, after the if statement, we have the if-else statement. Okay, so let me come back here. Now, where do we use the else-if statement? Sorry, not if-else, the else-if statement. Now, let's say we have multiple options here, more than just two options. Here we have just two options. What if we had more than two options? So that is, if I had more than two options, of course, I could still go on and say if, and then it will still work. If Joshua does this, execute that, I still go on and say if this happens, do this. But that is not a good way of writing our codes. That's why else if statements were introduced, so that you could have more control over what you're doing. So how do we write the else if? Unlike in C programming, where you write like this, else if. In Python, it goes by elif. That's why Python is simpler, because instead of writing the whole else if as a keyword, just write elif and it works. So else if what other option can we have here? So I'll just clear this statement and let's do something else. So just like when we're learning that if else statement in C, we had our age. So let's do this. So we are writing a program that if you are up to 18 years, you are an adult. If you are less than, or okay, if you are between, okay, let me just write it. If age is greater than 0, right, and age less than 18, less or equal to 18, what should happen? Print, you are, let's say, you are in between being, I don't know, you are a young adult. You are a young adult. Shouldn't be, if age is, let's say, I don't know, let me just leave it here. So from 0 to 18 years, we are saying you are a young adult. Okay, then from 19 to maybe 30 years, you are an older adult. That's it. So this is where we use our ELIF. Okay, ELIF, age is greater than 18. ELIF is greater than 18. And come on. And age is less or equals to, let's say, 30. What should it print? You print you are an older adult. Right? Else.
There's no answer.
There's no answer.
Okay. Thank you. An age. Okay. Thank you very much for that. Else brings you are known. You are unknown yet to us. Okay, let's just this thing and say this is outside the conditional statement. Okay, so let me run our program and see if that works. Okay, so it says if age is greater than 0 and that same age is less than 18, that's you fall in between 0 and 18, you are a young adult, right? Else, if this is where we start to use our else if, when I have multiple options, maybe I have more than 2 options here. Else, if age is greater than 18 and in between 18 and 30, you are an older adult. If none of this is true, that is, if the both of them evaluates to false, then our else clause is always going to be executed. So that is why I said earlier that you could think of it as a default statement, that when all others are false, then this is going to be executed. But if any of this is true, then it's not going to be executed. Okay, so in this case now, this is false because our age here is not between 0 and 18. You skip this and then checks here. If this is, unfortunately, it falls in between our age between 30. That's why we have you are an older adult. And then, of course, going to skip here because this is true. This is printed because it's out of any of this block of code. Okay, so let's make this falls in between. Let me use 5. Our program still works. We are a young adult. So what if you are, let's say you are 40? Okay, you are unknown yet to us. That is the wrong English. Okay, so that works. So that's basically the if statement, the else if statement, and the else clause. Okay, so that's simple enough because we've done it in C programming, and so we can easily grab. So we are going to solve some of our tasks in our project and see how we could apply this. I hope we even have tasks that has this. So let me move on to the next thing we have, which are loops. Okay, so when we started C, we took days to finish this, and we took days to finish this, and also took days to finish this. But now it's simple enough. That's why we are just going through them. So let me go into loops. So please, for call 12 and 13, if you're having issues with your C, you can always come here. We have our notes here, and try to study them here. Or when you have done, you can still try out the tasks available there. So we are now in loops. So what are loops, or what do we use loops for? Now in programming, just in a real life world, what is a loop? When you say I'm looping over something, it means you are doing that same thing repeatedly. Okay, just like when we are playing music on our phones and we loop between point A and point B. You see, we should just play from that point A. When it gets to point B, it comes back to point A and goes back and forth, back and forth. So that is what a loop also means in programming. So a loop is used to repeat a block of code until a specified condition is met. Okay? So which means, let's say, I don't have an example for that, but let's keep going. So in C programming, we had 3 types of loops. But unfortunately, in Python here, we have just 2 types of loop. And that is the for loop and the while loop. Now, there's a way you could implement, there's a way you could implement the do while loop. In fact, it has been implemented, but it has not been standardized yet. That's why they've not been using it. But it does not have the do while keyword. But you know how they usually implement, like when you have stack in C and you have stack in Python, you implement them using different things. So they have a way of doing this, not standardized. So for now, it's just the for loop and the do while loop, and the while loop. So let's see how we could do these 2 things. They are basically used in almost doing the same thing. Okay, so in C programming, we understood that when you wanted to write your for loop, the reason I'm always making reference to it so that we'll refresh our mind and then we'll connect to Python. We'll have our for statement, and in parentheses, we have our test expression. I believe that's correct. And then we'll come out of that and give it a semicolon in this case. And then we start to write, we have an indentation like this. Or we have an indentation with curly braces, and then whatever goes inside of this place becomes our body of our code. But in Python, it's different. Okay, so in Python, you have your for keyword, and then you have, just like your if statement, you have your test expression, and then you have a colon here. So whatever goes inside of this place is the body of your loop. Body of loop. Okay, so this is basically how you could write a for loop in Python. So just as we know, a loop is basically used to repeat a block of code until this test expression is met. So until this becomes false, whatever here, we'll keep executing till this becomes false. So let me show us how we could apply that. Okay, so let me say I have, I want to use someone's name. I don't really have examples in my head, but as we are doing it, I just tend to have something to do. So whose name? Come on, excuse me. I hope that does not open up. Okay. Sorry for that. So Edu Brazil. Edu is my friend. Okay, so I'm using Edu for this case. So I have Edu's age. Edu, let's say Edu is maybe 21 years. I love to use 21 years. So I would say for while Edu is let's say less than 21 years, or let's say greater than 21 years. Let me see how I could implement that. So for Edu's age, let's say greater than, less or equals to 24 years. Print, hope that works. He is getting older. And then I will reduce Edu's age by 1. So let me read the code again. For Edu's age less or equals to 24. No, sorry, I will add. Okay, so let me run it and see if it works. Okay, invalid syntax. Yeah, that's not going to work. So let me just use this to loop through something and show us how it works. So for I in range, that's the simplest thing I can come up with now. In range, let's say 20. Print. Let me still use Edu. Edu is getting older. Okay, so what this means is that remember when we are writing in C programming, we want to write, let's say, print out digits from 1 to 20, for example, right? Let me remove this. Let's start from 0. Want to print digits from 1 to 20. This is not how we could write it. In that case, we write for int I equals to maybe 0, I less, or that would be our stop, and then I plus plus. That would be our increment. Okay, but in Python is different. So for I in range 20, if I don't put any number in the first step here, it means start from 0. So for I in range 20, meaning for I in, from 0 through 20, print edu is getting older. Okay, let me run the code. So basically what it's going to do is going to print this particular start from 0. Okay, so that is just how you could look through. But okay, let me print I. I think it will make more sense when we'll see what we are printing. So this is it. This is 20 digits now, from 0 to 19. Okay, so let me make it on one line. Sorry. Okay, the reason that happened because I needed to put a new line. Okay, so we have from 0 to, so this is how you could use what this is doing is look through these numbers. It will check for I in range. I don't even know, but it was in C. I would have explained this better because C had a way of giving you the start point, the stop point, and the increment, and we were there when we were doing it. So for I in range 20, meaning for I inside of from 0 to 20, print I. So it will print 0, starting from 0, it will print 1 like that till it gets to 20. And 20 in this case is the 19, because when you start from 0 to count to 19, it's 20. So whenever this becomes false, so when this range becomes 21, this loop is going to become false, and this expression is going to terminate. So if you want to see when it terminates, let me print the end. So this is you only see this once. If I print this, okay, let me put it on a new line. So you see that this is only printed once. Why? Because it's not inside of this loop. If I was to put this inside of the loop, it will also be printed as many times as we print this. So when it prints I, it will enter into the next line here and print the end, and then go back and print 2, and then come back and print the end and go back like that. It will go back and forth till we get to 19. But because it's not inside of the loop, that's why after looping through this thing from 1 to 20, it will become false and escape that particular loop, and whatever goes is outside of it, it will also execute that. So I'm only using this print statement for demonstration purposes. There's a lot you could do with it, and we might see some of those when we are attempting our task. So I hope this is a bit understandable. If it is not, when I give the room for the questions, you can ask your questions, and from there we'll have other things we could do with it. So let me go to the while loop. Now, the while loop evaluates the test expression inside, but in this case not inside the parentheses, but the while loop evaluates the test expression. That's the keyword. If the test expression is true, the statement inside of the body of the while loop will be executed. Then the expression will be evaluated again. If it is still true, it will go back and execute it, to go back and forth till we get our required result. So how do you write our while loop in C? So we have the while keyword and then your test expression here. And then whatever goes inside of this place becomes the body of our loop, body of the loop. And then this is what it's going to be. So until this becomes false, just like the for loop, this will keep being executed. Okay, so I gave us an example when we're doing this here, where most importantly this could be used is when you are trying to validate a user's input. Okay, let's say we want a user to, we are building an app where we want the user, a particular user to, they should be 18 years and above. So when you are less than 18 years, it will keep asking you for the input until, I think that was the example. So while Edu's age, while Edu's age is less than 18, Okay, I'm going to ask for input. So let's say user equals to input. Enter something because I don't really have what to enter. So I'll go out of that and print. Finally, you entered something. So from this example, I believe we'll have an idea of what I'm talking about. So this statement is saying, while edu's age is less than 18, keep asking the user for input. So let me run this. Now, what happens? Edu's age is never less than 18. It's already 21. So that's why it just skipped this. So this becomes false. And then whatever is outside of the next things there is going to be executed. So what if Edu's age is 12 years? So I run this. So this becomes true. Edu's age is now less than 18. So it's asking me for input. So I'll just put something. Sorry, I'll just put this. I typecasted it to be an int. So if I should put something like this, it is going to raise an error. I don't even know why I did that. So I'll put 4. You see, to keep asking me for this. See that? To keep asking for input. Why? Because it says if Edu's age is less than 18, just keep asking him for something until Edu's. I think what I could do is to increment. Would that work? Would that work? Edu's age. Okay, let me do it like this. Let me do it like this. Input. Enter your age. So let's just ask Edu for his age. Okay. I will copy this. Put it in. So we'll ask Edu for his age. So if Edu give us an age that is less than 18, just keep asking him for age. So let's run it. So first of all, this is what is being executed now. So I'm going to input Edu's age as, let's say, 12 years old. It is asking me for age again. I'll say 13. I'll say 17. And then when I give something greater than 18, let's say 19, immediate greater, what happens? The loops end. So this becomes false. So when we are writing that program where you want somebody to enter a particular thing or do a particular thing before they could pass on to the next stage, just like when we have an app where they say input your email address and you refuse to input your email address, you keep clicking continue and it will keep asking. I think that's what is happening here. Is a while loop they are using. So that is how we could use the while loop. Okay, so before I continue to functions or checking out some of our tags here, I want to give the room now for questions. So please, if you have any questions, now should be the right time to ask. Okay, Juxin, please, you have a question, ask.
Okay, it's just like an addendum to that 4 loop statement you're talking about.
Okay.
For creating a step. Like for instance, in C, when you say for I is equal to 0, semicolon, I less than, yes, then I plus plus or I plus equal to 2. For Python, it's let's say for instance for I in range of, let's say 0, you are going to specify 3 items in the bracket. For instance, let's say you want to do a range of 0 to 10. Then you specify the counter or the step, which is, for instance, you take for I in range of, then bracket open 0, comma.
Okay.
Let's say 10, then comma 2. You can try
so,
it.
Yeah, this is what you're saying. Yeah. No, I think
yes,
that was not
0. Yes, 10.
0, 10. Yeah, I think I explained this yesterday.
Comma 2. Yes.
And then you could print I. Okay, so this is what it's talking about. Can you imagine this? So I'll just put 19. Okay, I was supposed to hit enter again. So yeah, this is what it's talking about. But this was not what really I was talking about. Yes, this is what it's talking about here. You could also give it a step of how you could move, just like as we did yesterday too, when we were doing the slicing thing. Yeah, I hope this is understandable, sir. Okay, I'll move on. Okay, well, I should just explain this. So just like as we had in the indexing yesterday, where you give the start, the end, and the steps. So this is how this also works. So you are telling it to start from 0 to 10, to 10 minus 1, right? This one could print to 10. And then this is the step. That is how many digits it should count, like it should skip to the next one. That's why you're seeing that it's printed 0, and then it will count 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's counting in twos. So you could also, let me increase the length of this and say 30. And then use 3 here. You see that it's be counting in threes. Okay. Okay, so that's, you see it now. So yes, you could also do that when using your range function. I believe we've seen how we could use this range from some of our attacks, although we might not have understood it, but this is how it works. The range is just used to, let's say, get a particular range of values, whole numbers, as the case may be. Okay, thank you, Dixon, for that. Is Dixon there? Okay, thank you, Dixon. Okay, Pascal, please ask your question. Is Pascal there?
Yeah. Good evening.
Okay, please go on.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I'll be dropping something on the message box. This is something pertaining to for loops. I'm trying to in for loops. I'm trying to do slicing in for loops. Trying to index something, but I've been trying to do it. I've been getting errors in my compiler. I don't know why it is happening like that. I don't know if there is any mistake I am making. So let me just drop it in the message box so you look at it and see if there is something I'm omitting.
Okay. Let me copy this. So let's all look at it together and see what could be. So what are you trying to do here? Choose a color using for loops. Colors equals to this. Okay. For color in colors, if color equals red, print color is my favorite color. Okay, so what are you trying to achieve here?
I'm trying to print out the red that I have equated to color. I'm trying to print it out in my print. And already, initially before I did this, already I've been able to, using the slicing, I've been able to pick out some colors. Okay, what do you remove?
Okay, I told us. Okay. Yeah, exactly. You know how indentation is important in Python. So because of that, this is inside your if statement. So you have to put it inside of the if. Then you run it. It should work for you.
Okay. I think because I've been trying it and I've been trying to make some movement there, but it's just giving me these errors.
Okay, I think sometimes it gives us the idea, but we don't usually read the error code. So please always try to read it, it will help.
Okay.
All right. And thank you for that too. So that in case, for those who missed it too, you could also see how that works. Okay. So should I don't need to copy it back and send to you now.
No issues. I already have it.
Okay, no problem. Okay. Christian and more, please ask your question.
No, good evening, David.
Okay, good evening, Christian.
Sorry, the other time I was trying to unmute my mic when you called me, but it wasn't, my laptop was hanging. No, I didn't respond. So, there was the previous code you just wrote. There is print I end equals. I want to understand what that end does in that code. Yes.
Okay. You mean this one?
Yes. The
Okay.
and end, not and end in
Okay.
line 4. Thank you.
So I am printing this without the end, right? I'll run my code. You see what happens? It's printing it on a new line.
Okay.
That is each of the letters on a new line. Now, if I don't want that to happen, what I could do, some persons could do it this way. Oh, sorry, this is a new line. What am I even doing? So if I don't want that to happen, I have to include that particular statement there. So this n equals to means that after each of this iteration, after each of the numbers, what do you want it to end it with? Okay. So
Okay.
let's see something more practical. So if I want to end it with a slash, if I run this code here, you see this, it's ending each of the number with a slash. Okay. So if I wanted a comma and a space, and I run it, this is what you will see, comma and a space. So that is what the end is doing. Whatever you want to end, if I wanted to end it with more, let's say after each I want to end with more, this should also, so you see we have 0 more, let me add a space. Yeah, so that's what we use the end for.
Okay. Thank you.
What of the arrow at the back?
The arrow at the back is this arrow you are seeing here. It's part of what is inside the shell.
Okay.
Okay, so Owoyomi Taiwo, please ask your question. Okay, everybody's hands are down. Okay, no problems. Study teacher, please ask your question.
Okay, is there a question? To the Mrs. Umo, the person that asked the question, by default,
Yes.
the print statement has a new line character. Whenever you issue a print statement, it's going to add by default a new line. So if you look at the example this Mr. David gave, when he just did print without that end statement keyword, it was printing everything on one line. But if you want to change the default character or you want to change the default pattern of the print statement, that's when you now use the end statement. Then now you now put the delimiter you want to use. Either if it's an empty space or an character. So by default, print is going to print every statement on a new line.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Jixin there.
Yeah, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes, she heard you.
Yeah, so my question is just like what we looked at yesterday. For instance, if we want to print my name is Taiwo, and I just want Taiwo alone to show at my output. No, there is this maybe -2 or some codes that you can use to take them out. Please, that is still not clear somehow.
Okay, you mean you want to, let's say your name is
Just like the example in our task that they said.
So you want to print only Taiwo?
Yes.
Okay. What you could do is to use the indexing we talked about here. So here I will say name. Remember how arrays work? Okay. Now let me go back to arrays. Now arrays usually this is how arrays work. When you declare a string, now the string is declared as an array, given that when you want to count it, you don't count it on, right? 1, 2. The position are 0, 1, 2 till the end. Okay, and then when you want to let's say access the last digit, let's say this is, let me just count this, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so when you are saying you want to print from 1 to 0 to 4 like this, it's not going to add this last one. So if you want to print from here to here, it's going to be 0 to 5 minus 1. Okay, so so the way arrays used to work is it starts from 0 to the last number minus 1. Okay, so which means minus 1. Yeah. So which means if I'm going to print 0, 1, 2, 3, sorry, plus 1. Yes, I want to access the last number. It's plus 1. So which means if I want to access this, the O here, right, it's not going to be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's not going to be 4. Rather, I have to make it 5 so that it's minus 1. Sorry, minus 1. It's usually this number here, minus 1, that will give us the last index in there. Okay, so that is how arrays used to work. So if I want to print Taiwo, I'm going to use the indexing as we discussed yesterday. So how do we do that? If I want to access only O here, for example, so I'm going to count 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. If I'm using only 1, I don't need to make it last number minus 1. So I'll just go ahead and print it to give me O here, because the fourth number there, starting from 0, is O. If I want to print A is 1. You see that A is 1. So it starts from 0 till wherever we are going to. So let's say in Python here, I want to print in a range. Let's say from a particular place to a particular place. That was where I discussed about start, stop, and steps yesterday. So this is how it's going to look inside of this, our squared bracket. So instead of here, I'm going to have my start, then a colon, make it clearer. Then I'll have my stop. Then I'll have my steps. So this is how it should look like. So I want to start from 0, which is T. Then I'll print it down to my 5th position. Remember, this is going to be 6 minus 1. That is how it works. It's not going to count it to the 6th. It's going to be 6 minus 1, which is 5. So if you want to print the 6th one, then you're going to make it 7. To be 7 minus 1. So in this case now, this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The space is also counted. 5, 6. So it should print from this Taiwo till O. I'll run it. What happened? Taiwo till O. That is. So what does this step does? It means that you want to maybe index it by 1 by counting it in ones. So it will be 0, 1, 2. So if I wanted to do it in 2s, just like what I showed you earlier in range, what Dixon explained in range, I do it like that. So it will be going through it in 2s. So it will be 0, 1, 2, which is the I, 1, 2, which is the O, the space here, 1, 2. That is what that does. So, but you could, if you don't want to print those in steps, you could just omit it. Maybe you just want to do it in 1. You could omit that last one. And if I run this program, to still give me, so let me make it only Taiwo here, which means, sorry, 6. If I count it now, it will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? 4. So I'm going to make it 5. What happened? We have our Taiwo here. Oh, now, let me take us back to what I explained yesterday. Now, since you are starting from 0, okay, you could omit it, but you must still put the colon here to show that you have a start. So if you're starting from 0, you don't necessarily need to put that 0 there. If I run this program, it should still work. So it means start from 0 and end at the 5th or the 4th position in this case. Okay, so that's what this means. So except I want to start from a number other than, or an indexing other than 0, then I can specify it. I want to start from 3 to 5, and that works. Now, if you want to print till end, you don't also need to put that last index there. You could just put 3 and it will print till the end. When you omit it, it means take it till the end. If I run this, it prints from the 3rd indexing, which is what? The 3rd indexing, which is W, 0, 1, 2, 3, yes, till the end. That's what that does. Okay, so I hope you understand it now, but you must indicate putting the our colon there. If not, if I don't put this colon, it just means print whatever is in the index of 3, which is the W. And that's how it is. So, Taiwo, hope you understand that now.
Yes, it's clear now. Thank you very much.
Right.
If you are printing everything, you just put a colon in between the square bracket.
Yes.
That will print everything, right?
Yeah, it's going to print everything. If you are starting from your 0 down to the end, that is going to still work. Okay, so that is that. Any other two hands are still up? Okay, Oluwafemi, please, people should help me mute their mics. Oluwafemi Busari, please ask your question.
Okay, good evening, Mr. David. So my question is in the for loop that you wrote earlier, that you said for I equals maybe open bracket 0, 30 at the step. The range is 0, 30 and step maybe true or so. Then I said you should print I, then end maybe space or backslash the way we. So you know, in ALS they normally give us some of these funny tags that I said, okay, write it in form of a tree or a Christmas tree or a pyramid and the likes. So that thing is still confusing me. I don't know how to interpret that kind of a question and actually achieve it using this shell command line.
Okay. That particular thing now, you need to understand matrix, how it works, so you could go on with that. Yeah, you are definitely going to use a for loop and a nested one at that. Yeah, I think I've given us an example of that once in C programming. I think that's not what we are doing now. But if I wanted to give an example of something that looks like that, I'm definitely going to use 2 for loops. So let me think. That requires some calculations too. Let me think. Okay, let's say if I wanted to print a pyramid. No, I can't go into that. But yeah, okay. So what will happen if you want the code for it? You want the code for, let's say, a pyramid or something like that. Immediately after our session, you just inbox me and I'll give you in C, or in Python, anyone you want, C or Python. Just tell me, I'll give it to you.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right. So, Christiana Moore, you have another question, or this is the old one?
Yeah, no, another one, please. I just sent something to the message box. I want you to help me explain this minus, just like this, what you just explained about indexing. When you have minus, how does it even go about it?
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't explain that too. Sorry about that. Okay, so the minus basically means you want to start counting from the end. Okay, just like we have 0, 1, 2. When you use the negative, when you are counting from the end, you don't start from minus 0. There's nothing like minus 0. So you start from minus 1. So this L here is minus 1. O minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, minus 5 happens to be 8 here, but you know how it works. So if I print this, you should print from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which is I. And then it will end it at minus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's just going to print is. My network, hold on, let me refresh this. Just hold on, let me run it on. Okay. So I said it's going to print is. Okay, sorry. Okay, so you see that calculation was right. Okay, so that's how. Okay, if I just let me remove this. Let's just print one thing from using the minus. So let me not use minus 5. Let me use, say, minus 2. So if our calculation is right, minus 2 should be the O here, and it's correct. Let's try minus 8, something way out of the range. We have minus 8. It might be space. So let me try 9. We have n, so minus 8 was actually space. So that is how the negative part of it works. Just starting from the back side, the end. I hope you understand.
Yes, I do. Thank you.
Sorry, in the minus, does it also count space?
Yes, of course, it counts space. Okay, so no more hands. No more hands. So let's check some of the tags we have here. Okay, the first tag there says, this program will assign we will assign a random signed number. We know what a signed number is. If you don't know it, then you should go back to C, to the variable number. Each time it is executed, complete the source code in order to print whether the number stored in the variable is positive or negative. We don't even need to even do this, but just to start it off, let's see. But we don't really need to do that. That's too simple for us. So I will copy this. I will close it. Come back here. Okay, so this number says someone's mic is on. Please help me mute it. Okay, so this program using a random module here, it means it's going to generate a random number between this range from here to here. Okay, so what the task was saying is that you should make it that when it prints a negative number, say it's a negative number. When it prints a positive number, when it prints 0, if the number is 0, then you say it's 0. If the number is less than 0, it's negative. If the number is 0, it's 0. If the number is greater than 0, it's positive. So that is very simple. So if number, what was the first one? I think let me just follow the format there. If number is greater than 0, if number is greater than 0, print, I think they said, or let me use the F string. I would say number is positive, right? Positive. We shouldn't even be doing this. So this is where I'm going to use my elif because I'm having multiple options here. So if number is equals to 0, we should say number is 0. Number is 0. Else. So I'll use my else clause here. So if none of that is true, so definitely is a negative number. Else. It's not like it's definitely is negative. So just run the code here. This
second parenthesis is missing in elif.
Where is that? Where is that? Line 8.
Yes. After 0.
Okay. Thank you. This print. No, this doesn't look correct. Okay.
No,
okay.
Not
sorry.
Sorry. Double quote.
Sorry. So this is number is generated. 4 is positive. 2 is positive. So our codes run very well. 9 is negative. So I wish it to give us a 0. So we could know that works too. But that is the code. It was simple enough that we shouldn't even be solving that. So I moved to why I'm scoring all this. You see, I normally miss our deadlines a lot because I'm trying to understand. I used to tell us, let us not rush to meet up deadlines and scores. This one says the program will assign a random signed number to, it's not the same thing. Complete the source code to print the last digit of the number stored in the variable. We did this yesterday. Are you sure this is not the yesterday's task? Okay. So basically, you are going to use the indexing here to do this. Okay, but then, yes, this is going to make sense because there's a format to this thing. Yes, I think, yeah. Let's do only this one, if not for anything, because of the last digit he's talking about. Okay. Let's go there. So let's go back. So it says the program is going to assign a random number to number each time it is executed. You should complete the source code to print the last digit of the number stored in the number. The variable number will store a different value every time you run. You don't have to understand the string of last digits of followed by. Let's not leave all this English for now. Let's just try to print the last digit first of all. So how do we do that? Now, to get the last digit of a particular number, now you are going to after dividing the number by 10, okay, the remainder is the last digit. So if I have something like 1, 2, 3, for example, as a number, so after dividing it by 10, okay, that is where we use the modulo operator. So the remainder of this division, when you divide 1, 2, 3 by 10, of course, it's going to give you 3, I believe. So 3 is going to be the last number here. I was showing somebody this yesterday, and they said, "What is the number is 3?" I was like, divide it and check. I think this should be 0.3, right? So the last digit there is 3. So that is how you get the last digit of any number. So I'm going to name this last digit equals to number, okay. It's possible that the number might be a negative number, right? So to get that particular, you need the absolute number. What is an absolute number? An absolute number is just a number from a positive. Let me just say a positive number, a natural number, right? So if I'm having minus 1, 2, 3, so that number in a positive way is an absolute value. We did that in C. If you don't understand what an absolute value is, you might want to go and check it out. And in Python, unlike C, where you have to do some rituals to get that, in Python, they already have a function that does that. When you use the absolute keyword here, then whatever you want to check the absolute for, this is going to work. Yeah, I found it very interesting. So this is the solution to this line to get the last digit of this number. So I could go ahead and print last digit. Okay, let me do it like this. Let me do what they said we should do. Print the last digit of number. Want to see it? Of number is last digit. Last digit. Right? I'm not going to forget that again, Christiana. I will run this again. It says the last digit of minus 9917 is 7. So I think this was just the solution for that particular task. The last digit of this is 5. You keep running in the last digit. So this is the formula for you to get the last digit of a number whenever you want to do find something like that. Might not be in Python, anywhere else. So the other thing they said we should do is we should include the string, the number followed by, this is just what I wrote here, the last digit of this, but you should arrange it in the ways. If the last digit is greater than 5, the string and I think this is understandable. So this is just how to solve it. Remember, I'm not showing you how to solve your task, but the concept you could use in solving the task. So you could include the other things in the if clause or in your if and else statement, that if it is greater than 5, you should print last digit of number is last digit, followed by and is greater. If the number is greater than 5, then it should be and is greater than 5. I think that's easy enough. Okay, if that last digit is greater than 5, then it should print and is greater than 5. If the last digit is 0, then it should be and is 0. If the last digit is less than 6 and not 0, the string should be and is less than 6 and not 0. So it's like me copying what I had inside of this place and pasting it inside this place, and I move on. Okay. So write a program that prints the ASCII alphabet in lowercase followed by a new line. Okay. This is an interesting one too. Okay, so definitely let's attempt it. So if you don't know about ASCII values, I think you should go and look at it. It's just numbers, normal usual numbers representing the alphabet. So A could be 97, 98 could be B, 123 could be Z. So that is what this means there. So you should print the ASCII alphabet in lowercase. So let's try it. So you're going to include your script here, your Python script here, and when you want to print something of that in a range, what do? You use a loop. So in this case, I'm going to use my for loop. So for I in range. Now for A to Z, that is the small letters A to Z, right? It's usually from 97 through 123. Yes. No, 97 through 123. I think I'm correct. If I'm not correct, please somebody can correct me there. That is that. So we want to print the alphabet of this, right? So how do we get that right? How do I do that? How do I do that? Hold on, how do I do that? I say, let me print I. Hold on, I want to try it in two ways. Let me just say I want to print I and see what it gives me. Okay, it gives, of course, it's going to give me the actual values. So let me try to format it. I put my, I'm going to put anything there. Okay.
CHRO.
Thank you, CHRO, right? And then I should have my I here because that's what I'm trying to print there, right? So if I should run this, it should print all of them on new lines. Yes, of course, on new lines. So if you wanted to say, let's print all of them on, I should have asked Christiana how to do that. So I'm going to do this. And this should give me A to Z. Yes, so that works. So this is basically, I have not explained this. The reason is there's a topic I saw that has format, something on format. I wanted to take my time to explain that, but because I have not been able to gather our curriculum, just like as we did on C programming, that is what is giving me the issues. And I think maybe I will have to forfeit one day and say, let us not do a session so that we use that day to put together all those notes on Python. So we're going to meet up and enjoy our program. Okay, so if you don't understand this, just understand that this is used to format. Just like when we had a number inside of this place and we had something like this and we said .2f, it is also the same thing we are doing with the keyword here, .format. And so this here, I'm trying to convert my I into characters using this keyword here. That is basically what I'm doing. And then I'm ending it with a new line. This is what we already know. So this is what we should focus on. So this is what the format is doing here. But I think when we have time to spend on this, so that we could do some examples of how we format it, we really understand how it works. But this is basically it. It was not difficult. Somebody had a question before. Okay, nobody. So I think I should just hold it there for now. But let me just skip through some things. Write the program that prints numbers from 0. Why am I getting this? Even if I miss third deadline, I'm not supposed to get this low. Write the program that prints numbers from 0 to 99. Numbers must be separated by a comma. This is something for Christian and more, followed by a space. Numbers should be printed in ascending order with 2 digits. The last number should be followed by a new line. Okay, I think let me just take that as the last one, and then we can close for the day or something like that. Okay, no source code. Wow. So you include your script file here. Oh, sorry, your script there. So I'm trying to print from 0 to 99. So let me write that first. So I'm going to use my for loop for I in, always using I, let me use C. For I in range 0 to 99. That's what they said. For I in range 0 to 99, and then I hit this. What happened? Print me I. Let me start from there first. Print me C. And end it with a new line. Sorry, not a new line, rather a space. Sorry, not a space. I think a comma and a space. So, Christiana, this is for you. Wait. 99. 0 to 99. That means I should make it 100 then. Okay, that's the first thing there. So I've been able to get that. Number should be printed in ascending 2 digits. When they say with 2 digits, it means like 0 here should be 00, 01, 02, 03, 04. And of course, we saw how we could do that yesterday, right? So basically, this is it. This is it. So just like what I did with my format there, right? Inside of this place, I'm going to format it to give me that. Remember yesterday we did something like we put a colon, and then we had .2 to specify the decimal places. And in C, we knew that when we could also do something like this with our format specifier, and then we'll get zeros, between our number and the main number, like 1. We have 0, 1. So this is just telling us that we are having two numbers, but precede it with a 0. Okay, so we're having two numbers. That is what that particular thing means there. So using my format keyword now, because basically this is the only way I could do this. Please, if I get this wrong, you tell me, because I might not be sure. So I'm formatting my I here, and then I'm ending it with a new line. A space. If this is wrong, so
C, format C, not I.
Okay, sorry. We already used to I. Okay. Oh, sorry, I'm supposed to have a full stop here, like a dot there. Okay. Why?
Hello,
I'm not supposed to have.
Remove the F and the dot.
Yes, I'm supposed to have D because it's an integer. Sorry. So this is what they asked us to do. But then let's go back. You can only use no more than 2 print functions. Definitely, they want us to use 2 print. The last number must be followed by a new line. I think when you include your script, it will give you this. And you're not allowed to store numbers or strings. You're not allowed to import any module. I don't know. Does anybody have something to add to this? I think I'm not supposed to have a comma at the end here. That's how I feel.
The first thing, sorry, Mr. Dave.
Yeah.
First thing, we're going to check if C is equal to 99. Then we'll now do print. Then for the end, we're going to print the same thing, but for the end, there will be no comma or space.
You mean I should write another block instead of the
no, it will be in the first one. As in,
when you mean
just before that, yes, enter. Then if C,
okay, if C
equal to 99,
okay,
then your column, yes, then print. You do copy that same print. Just copy it. Yes. Then now we'll remove the 0 to remove the 0 to just put your D there. Just
D?
put the D there. Yeah, just the D. Okay. Yes, then for the end, wait. The end, remove everything there. Just let it, no space. No, you put your end, the end equal to just
this.
Yes, like that. No space in between, yes.
Okay, let's see if this works. The buffer. This worked. Okay, hold on.
And the last one is writing 9999.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at now. 98. Did they say from 0 to 98? 99. Okay, then should be 100. Okay, Dixon, I don't know. The last one is
okay. Sorry. Wait, sorry. Less than. I think it's if C is sorry, just hold on.
Okay.
Yes, if C is equal to 99.
Equals to
99. 99. Yes.
Okay. What if outside this I do something like this? I'm not sure, but I've not really done this task yet.
If you do it outside there, that means you're going to make it 98. You're going to stop at 98. You understand? So your range now will be 0 to 98. Then outside, you will now print 99 without a... I don't know if you understand me.
I could make it I plus 1. Oh, sorry,
okay.
C plus 1.
But C, okay. But C, it should still be outside of your C, of your first statement. If you put it outside there, so it will not be able to see C. Because outside before first statement.
Okay, there's how I'm picturing it. Let me just try it. If it does not work, then it's 2 decimal places, I guess. And I'll format it just like I formatted command. Then I would say I plus 1, right? I plus 1, and then I would
C plus 1.
Oh God. Then I should make this 99. Let me comment this out. We are going to use it again. Okay, I'll still comment this out. Okay, I thought so. If you noticed, excuse me, if you noticed, when I do this, I've been noticing this. When I run this program or any of those programs, I have to hit enter before it will have to print this. And that is because we're having a buffer, right?
It's printed well.
Okay, no, we're having a comma at the end. That was my problem. I don't know if you understand.
If you put... Okay.
You understand me?
Okay. Yes.
Okay, because if you're writing numbers and you get to the end, it's either you have a full stop here or you don't have anything at all instead of having comma. So that was what I think when I was doing that, that was what made me even leave this particular task. And okay, this worked. Let me see what I scored. That means I did not do it again. Yeah. Okay, so I think this could work. This could work. So we could also try it. But if you have any ideas, I would love to see how you solved yours. Other people, you solved yours. You can drop it in the comment box too, so that we could also learn from it. David, is it you are replacing the pattern in the script? Oh God, no, please. I just came this to see here. No, I said you should write your script here. I'm not writing it. I said you should write it. Let me remove it to avoid confusion. So please, if you did this particular task, help me post your answers in the comment box so that we could also see it and learn from it. Yeah, please. So let me check the comment box before we do something else. Please, David, I also need the explanation to the creating a pyramid or tree numbers, either through C or Python. Okay, no problems. Just hit me up on WhatsApp after now, and then I will write it for you. That's not a problem. That's not the aim of this thing now. If you want it in C or Python, just tell me. Okay, so if you have another way of solving this, please you drop it so that people too could. What is this? Excuse me. Okay, so I think we are going to stop here for now. Yeah, for now. I believe we've been able to solve some things here and it worked well. We've not entered into function, but because of the time, so that people from the eastern part of the Africa, is it East or Central Africans, could go and rest, because it should be like 12 on their own end now. Okay, so I will just give the chance for the last question I should be having here. Christian Onmo, please ask your question.
David, please, I want to know, the code you just wrote now, did it work? I don't know whether you run it.
Yeah, it works.
Let me see it again. Run it again. I want to see it.
Can I remember what I wrote there?
Oh.
For I, let me just see. For C, B, let me check it. It was just to, okay. 0 to, I think I used 99 at the end. And then I said, you should print, then I formatted it, and I said, my colon, and then 0 to my format specifier. I love to call it format specifier. And then I close this. I think I formatted my C, and then I ended it with comma and this. Then I went outside. Although we have our own opinion that this might not work. So if you try this and it doesn't check for you, then you should look for other ways you could write it. So 0 to D, and I close it, go outside, and then I format it to I+1 just to implement that in there.
Please, to implement what? You said you made that in there. What is that?
To increment my C, so I should just print a space instead of having to give me this.
Okay.
C+1.
Oh God, sorry. Okay, it still works. 99, it still works. But if it doesn't work for you, that means this is not what is expected. But they said we shouldn't use more than 2 prints. This is 2 prints. There's no way we could do this without having to use up to 2 prints. And
Sir Dave,
sir,
please, I shared mine on the comment section.
okay, let me check that.
Thank you.
All right, madam. Okay, so okay, let me paste this there in case anybody needs it first. If you need that, we collect it there. Let's go with this. Okay, this also works. This is what I'm talking about. So if you have other ways of doing it, share it. So this says for digits in range 100, okay? If digit equals 99, you should do this, digits, okay? Else, you should do this, comma digit n, okay? Okay, so when it gets to 99, it ends there. Okay, what if we, excuse me, let me put 99 here and see what happens. Come on, man. Let me refresh my page. So please keep your code coming, please. You have other means of doing that. Let me run that again. Okay, let me use the 100. Worked. All right, so this also worked. So if that does not work, please also try this too. It's in the comment box already. Okay, Dixon, it works. It works.
Thank you, sir.
All right. So if this does not work, you can also do this. If this does not, it should work because if Dixon used it, then it worked already. Me, I haven't used this yet. Looking very, very short. So, okay, Dixon. Okay, it worked. It worked. I wanted to ask something, but I've seen it. Okay, it worked. All right. So I think we've been able to do justice to the if, else, and loops. Yes, we've inside of this tax alone, we've used our for loop and our if statement. It's just the while loop we have not really used. So yes, we've covered some things. So maybe by tomorrow or whenever we have another session, we are going to enter into functions so that we could also come back to this particular task and tackle some things here. So at this point, I want to give chance to somebody who has something to say before I enter into our closure. Okay, Christiana Moore, please speak.
Please, I just wanted to ask if it's possible to also try a while loop. I don't know if it's today or another day, but before entering function, to try a while loop.
Okay, but we've covered while loops today. You're asking for more examples?
Yes.
Okay, no problem. Maybe when I'm coming next time, I'll be coming. Okay, but if you also see tax that has while loop, you can also inform me so that I will add it to maybe the tax I'm coming back with next time.
Okay. Thank you very much.
All right, great. Okay, and thank you very much for that. For those who didn't really grab the concept of while loop, as you said now, maybe when next we are coming, we'll come with a few examples before we enter into the functions. So let us not concentrate on our deadlines here. Let us concentrate on understanding the concept. You have seen me now. Look at, I've exposed myself. I am having 100 here and having 66 here. And because I want to get what is like this particular task we just finished now. I have not done it very well yet. It's just now. I don't know how I managed to solve it like this here when I couldn't do it sync. So anybody have something else to say before I say, let me enter into the closure of the meet? Anybody? Okay, we are all good. Okay, so at this point, I want to thank everybody, first of all, for coming out. It's not easy to say, let's come out and go and meet and learn, because some person could have said, oh, no, let me sit back and watch the videos, but we came out to contribute. Just look at how Dixon, Christiana, and the host of others, and Pascal, they've been able to contribute and we've learned from them. So this is how our meet is always is, so that we could, improve on our own. Just like these codes I've seen now, I'm definitely going to go back with this and see what I could do with my own, and also check it out with this if this is going to work. So please, let us always try to attend the meets too. You might learn more than you think you already know from this meet. We are having up to 200 and something persons in the group, but only 16 we're having here till the end of the meet. So it's good. So I want to thank everybody. For you that came out and stayed to do, I want to thank you and to tell you that your effort is not wasted. I believe you've gotten something out of the meet. So till we meet again. And for cohort 12 that just joined us in the ALX SE community group, we want to specially welcome you to the community. We're happy to have you and want to assure you that, of course, you are going to get a lot from the group actually. Yeah, because that is where great minds are. People like, let me call their names out, people that are recognized in this meet. We have Blessed here. Camillus is even here. Imagine he has not seen anything. Edu Brazil is here all this time. Emmanuel, Folakemi is in cohort 12, but she has been doing very well. Joshua is here, one of our guys. Justice Obasi. Justice Obasi is one of our media guys, very strong. One who took cohort 12 on their first class. Thank you for that. So Pascal is here, and study teacher you are seeing here is Dixon. He's one of our great guys. So please, whenever I see them like this, I want to identify them so that in case you have anything for them, you could inbox them or reach out to them from the group. Okay, so thank you everybody for coming out. And Christiana has something to say. Christiana, you have something to say?
Sorry, I'm sorry. The video of yesterday, we've not seen it yet. Mr. Justice, please.
Please, I lost you there. Please come again.
I said the video for yesterday's meet, we have not seen it yet for the media cast.
Okay.
For the media team, we've not seen it yet.
Okay, no problem. I think he's hearing you now. I think I discussed with one of them yesterday, and they said they are strongly working on it. So definitely, that by the end of today's already at the end. That by the end of today or by tomorrow morning, we'll be having all of them with us.
Okay. Thank you very much.
All right, you're welcome. So thank you everybody for coming out. Till we meet again. I love all of you and I wish you the best. So you can unmute your mics now and say good night to everybody. And thank you for coming out.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Good night.